Hi guys, welcome back to the Founders Disco. I'm your host Shuj, and we're here today with Jairo Recheverri, the founder of Combat Vet Boxing. Jairo, tell us a bit about you and your organization.
Once again, my name is Jairo Recheverri. I was born in San Antonio. Actually, born in Houston, raised in San Antonio. Went into the military right after 9/11 happened. Already in basic training in 2002. Called the OIF 1 time frame in Iraq, Infantry 11 Bravo. Served from 03, 05, 06, 08, and 2009. Um, got a brain injury leaving my third tour in Iraq. And did some time in Walter Reed, just occupational therapy. When he had the brain injury, the walking a vestibular vest every day. My eyes had convergence palsy. Had to wear prisms and the speech therapy, writing therapy, just the normal things. The brain's a muscle, and when you work that out, it really you can get your function back little by little. And due to the fact that I had about 40 pieces, they did a scan of my brain, and about 40 pieces of it's called artifact white matter on the brain. And just due to the fact I couldn't serve anymore. So I retired in May 26th of 2013. It was Memorial Day, 2013. And like anybody else, when you get out of the military, man, leaving the 12 years of military service, 3 tours, leaving with a TBI and PTSD, with nothing to do. I hit every single rock on the way down. It's really, it was a really tough time for me. Trying to get my life together, trying to figure out what my identity was after taking that uniform off. And then being a person that comes from not only childhood trauma, but it's complex, mixed with combat trauma. Um, I will say that I lived behind, had to let go of, I had a lot of issues of self entitlement. you know, um, Definitely was using my military career as kind of a shield because of things that I went through as a child. So obviously, when you hit a lot of speed bumps and road bumps in life, I lost more than I gained for a certain period of time. Being a leader in the military, being a leader in the military, my spirit was different. I knew for a fact that I was, called to make impact. And once I actually got on my feet a little bit and got that sense of leadership back inside of me, God gave me a vision to start combat vets boxing. And what it was is the reason why it started was because of the fact that for myself, I've done every single thing, the PTSD groups, the EMDRs, the therapies, the classes, the anger management, the pills, the different programs, intensive outpatient programs, everything you can imagine. And I will tell you that truthfully, the only thing that brought me any change was having an encounter that had spiritually, and God gave me a vision to help others because the word was changing me, and I wanted to ensure that when these veterans are coming in, it was the word of God that the veterans were not leaving the same way they were walking in. And it's something that we do. And they come get the boxing training, but ensure that every time that they're there, that I'm not the one that gets the glory. I'm just there as a vessel, trying to help them. I bait them in with the boxing, give them Jesus on the back end. But when they come in very broken, bro, the first thing your flesh wants is just to be motivated. You want to be motivated. You want to be told that you're hitting the bag right. You want to just be seem like you're cared for, and somebody's finding the good in you just for that moment, just to kind of raise those low vibrations that you're having. And it starts like that. Starts like that. Starts with the brotherhood. It starts with the hug. It starts with the we get on the bags, and they're hitting the bags, and um it's like I tell them, hey guys, anybody can hit a bag, but it takes a leader to what? And they're like, it takes a leader to motivate. And I'm like, motivate each other, guys. Let's go. Let's motivate each other. And it starts with the camaraderie. But then, you realize at a certain time that the camaraderie is not enough. There has to be it has to go a little deeper. There has to be that intentional relational discipleship. Like, how are you truly growing them outside of just hitting the bag, getting inside the ring? Because the true battles are outside of the ring. you know um it's we're getting hit left and right. What's the economy, your finances, marriages, It's battles outside of the ring. Those are the ones that really lump you up. In the ring, there's the bruises, the bangs. You recover from that. There are things that are actually happening outside of that ring that's bringing our veterans and our families, to points of giving up, losing hope, suicide, drug addictions, 100% disabled vets. They're paid on the first and they're broke on the seventh. And kids are displaced, going through divorce. So, um, the purpose of the division is to give them a platform to be able to get everything out on the bags, but to truly give them something spiritually that can bring change to their lives, to their families' lives, and kingdom-minded men, women, fathers, mothers, and you see where I'm going.
Yeah, man, that's absolutely amazing. I can relate a lot. So this company that I founded over the last 12 months, we work with people with disabilities. So not like, yeah, there are some, ex-military people that come through as well, but from people who are born differently able to accidents or worse
Yeah.
that have led to challenges in life. So we opened a center as well. The very similar, you know, it starts with that hook of an activity or
Exactly.
whatever it is, but it ends up being so much more than that. Like
It
sometimes
is.
it's just a reason to get up and have a shower, you know.
Yeah.
Through that space, we've also created little micro businesses. So there's a gardening service. There used to be a cafe, a bit of a sad story there, but we had to close the cafe. The idea is, yeah, okay, you're building skills, you're building confidence in yourself. And then there's opportunity for employment, and again, more reason to just get out and be, and the effects of that, we see it trickles back, like you said, outside of the ring, um, where we get feedback from people's families about like what a different energy they're bringing home, a different, spark when they wake up in the day, that kind of thing.
Sure.
Yeah, it's incredible. So yeah, I love everything you said, what you guys do and try and achieve for these people. And I'm sure they're incredibly grateful too, right?
Yeah, and why that's also sponsored by Texas Parasport. I also have veterans. We're the only organization in the state of Texas that holds the association holder for veterans that can actually compete on prosthetics.
Yeah.
They compete on
Oh,
prosthetics, amputee boxing, um, and I even have one of my kids coaches right now. Man, beautiful story. He served in Iraq, killed in Baghdad in 2004. He was the number three man through a door. He got hit by a ricochet, and the bullets actually stood still a quarter centimeter away from his brain. Name's Ronnie Wolfel. And for years after that happened in 2004, he was living in South Austin and didn't have the camaraderie, didn't, which is kind of sitting there. I would see him at the reunions later on, but the lifestyle wasn't the same, you know what I mean? Because when you're barely getting out, it's the drinking, the partying, it's not really, it's like we're on a certain level. And when you're at that level, you're not really paying attention to who's hurting.
yeah.
Got to that point where I saw with my own, alcoholism and addiction and things that were running through my life, as a veteran, after my time of service. Once God separated me from that and called me to do what I'm doing today, we actually had a conversation recently, and he was just on the verge of suicide, just really just about to give up hope. And now, within the organization, he's I can't get this guy away from me. He's my kids coach now. You know what I mean? He found purpose. His wife is so happy that he gets out of the house. And this guy, we actually have an interview tomorrow with him at another podcast in Georgetown, Texas, where he's going to be able to share his testimony. And he's the exact person that kind of reflects what the program about and what the fruit of it is. You know what I mean? It's kind of like it checks the block, say, hey, you know what? This is the vision God gave us. This is what we're doing. This is how we're making impact. Okay, here it is.
Yeah. I love that. And the smile on your face and your body language right now
Yeah.
speaking about him, and I'm sure there's plenty of others you can, you know, relate with in that sense. That says a lot about how passionate you are about the company you've created and the results that you guys achieve, right?
That's for sure.
And if we want to sort of go back to when you first started out 5 years ago.
The started actually about 4 years ago, but officially about 3.5 now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, about 3.5 officially on paper.
Yeah.
But I was doing this. I was doing this for. I was a head coach for our children's side of the organization for a while, but
Yeah.
I decided to do this specifically for our veterans and first responders locally.
Yeah.
Kind of
Amazing.
shift gears, you know.
Yeah. What were some of the more frustrating parts or the challenges of starting something like this?
Man, I will tell you, a few things that I've learned. Not number one, when when I was in my 20s and 30s, I used to come across people and they say, I would ask them, hey, how are you so successful in business? And they would tell me, I put God first. For years, it sounded so cliche. I just like, you didn't truly understand it until you do it yourself. It comes with prayer, fasting, and you get started, and there you go. I will tell you that I wouldn't call it not a double-edged sword, but I will tell you one way. When you start something in a sense like that and you have a vision and God's called you to not just create something to glorify yourself as a coach or what you're doing, because getting the praise from man, isn't getting the praise from man is nothing compared to what he sees. You know what I mean? And I tell you, one of the biggest challenges that I learned is that when you bring people in, whether that's your board, whether that's your people that you get involved, if you do not have a faith-centered relationship with them, faith-centered, and you bring people in that maybe because they have a talent, doesn't mean it's a talent that's going to truly edify the organization, when you're trying to do things on a kingdom level. And so what I realized is that in your organization, when you start a faith-centered organization, the second that people begin to challenge the fact that God's word needs to be removed from the picture, things start falling apart. The second that we're not giving God's word, the second we're not sharing that, the second we're not lifting each other up, in a sense of a spiritual sense, things fall apart. And I watched it go up, I watched it go down, I watched things be comfortable, I watched things get uncomfortable. And I've actually had to do a spiritual reorganization at a certain point because of the fact you have to truly get like-minded men and women who are in line with the vision. And the kind of people like my president of my board right now, he says, man, coach, you know what? He says, God led me to you because what I want to do is the vision that God gave you. I said, I want you to lead. God moved it and pressed it on my heart that I want to translate the vision to make it to where people can understand. And man, it's literally taking things by storm, getting things in place and getting the group together to work together with one. He said, if you have two visions, like a double vision, he says, so it's one single vision, one way. So I will
Yeah.
tell you that was my greatest challenge. The relationship is it are you working with somebody because what they can do, or is it truly somebody that God's called to be a part of you, and it's a faith center relationship, and they will go against the Father before they come to you. You know,
Yeah. I
we
love
don't
that.
we don't clash here.
Yeah.
Brother, we were supposed to walk in love. We don't go with each other.
Mm. Yeah, there's ways of having those difficult conversations and challenging each other without still making it productive, right? Without it being, like you said, a clash or um, or that sort of toxicity that can exist
Yeah.
sometimes when it's ego, maybe it's you know. But I actually love a particular part of what you said was a faith-based relationship with the people that you work with.
Yes.
I mean, we currently have a team of 10, and getting to this point faced similar challenges, right?
Yeah.
Where we'd hire for talent or try and, solve a skill-based problem. And we end up where that component or that person causes so much friction in the team because we're not aligned, as human beings. They might be amazing at that function, but it hurts more than it helps, right? I guess, like, so I'm religious, but I don't tend to bring, God into my office, if that makes sense. But those elements that you described, you guys use faith in that way, right? Whereas we use faith, more on like sort of that sort of energy and vibe and stuff, like, and it, like you just sort of
you discern it.
Yeah,
you discern it.
Yeah, and yeah, me personally in life, I've had businesses like go real bad because of not being aligned, people within not being aligned, or they have different intentions and stuff like that.
For sure.
There's, doing it for the points as opposed to for the love of the game, right?
Sir.
That, to me, like, that's one of those things I heard recently actually put into words, and I love it because it just makes so much sense. If no one's watching, if no one was in front of you, would you still be the way you are? Would you still speak the way you are? Would you, And then that's sort of, for me, where that religion aspect comes in. Yeah, I think that's very important.
I just read a proverb. That hits that exactly. It said it was actually, because if you read in the proverbs, there's 30 proverbs. So if you read one a day, you read all the proverbs. But there was a proverb that said, "As water reflects light, so does your life reflect your heart." As water reflects light, so does your life reflect your heart. Exactly where your heart lays is exactly the action of what you do, who you are, how you walk, how you conduct yourself.
Quite often the people that you attract to yourself, right?
For sure.
I have some close friends who, we don't mix professionally, right? But we've known each other for a long time. So there's that, I have that relationship with them where we catch up, and some of them, and it's not judgment at all. Like, I love these people, they're my friends, but, there's a few who are like constantly surrounded by one disaster after another, or, oh, this person did this to me, and, that.
Yeah.
And, I personally find that at some point, like, take accountability for why you're in these situations, right? Like, at some point, you have to understand that you might be attracting this sort of energy, and why would that be, right?
Sure.
And I think that also comes down to, who are you behind closed doors, right?
For sure.
It's in line with that, like,
Yeah.
your heart reflects your life, right?
An analogy that really was profound to me, and said, like, because I have 4 boys, one on the way, and there's an analogy. It says, if you were to take one of those children, take them 50 miles away, get them a plane ticket, send them somewhere, tell them, hey, I give you $10,000 right now. I just want you to just tell me who your dad is, or tell me who your mom is. Like, what do you think about them? What exactly comes out of their mouth at that moment is exactly who you are. Because we can be however in front of each other, but man, our kids know, and our children know. So when you start to look at that, you start thinking about, the seeds that you're sowing from inside of your house. How do you really conduct yourself? What does your anger look like? What is it? What does your conflict resolution look like? And that's why I said, don't really worry about what your neighbor's doing. Try to minister to your own house first, because when you get things right internal, that's truly what's going to make you successful externally, because you're going to lose one or the other. You're going to lose your family or your organization, and at the end of the day, man, dying with your organization can be a very lonely place. You know what I mean? Things change. Family doesn't, so you have to have that fine balance in between that, so It's
Absolutely.
called. I have an album actually called Real Walk that's coming
Mm,
out. I have a Christian rap album that gets released in January of 26. I got distribution through TuneCore. It'll be
mm.
on iTunes and Spotify.
Yeah. Send
Under
me a link when it comes.
yeah,
Yeah.
I will. I'll send it to you when it comes out. But the album's
Yeah.
called Real Walk
Yeah.
because I truthfully, there was a certain point in my life, 44 years old. Um, my wife had ovarian cancer and dealt with and basically half an ovary, and God put a miracle in her stomach. And I'm having a
Mm,
little boy at 44 years old.
mm,
And I tell you what, when a miracle change happens in my personal, because we only have power of testimony, but my change really happened in a personal lifestyle is when you have reverence towards a miracle. When you have reverence towards a miracle and understand where that comes from, it's a different level of respect.
yeah.
Kind of that higher level of thinking that says, hey, how am I conducting myself? We truthfully, we reap what we sow.
Absolutely. And
You know,
there's also an element of being able to actively find a miracle every day, right? In
for
something
sure.
like something that I practice, and like you can look at it in different ways, whether it's a gratitude exercise or a journaling task, or whatever, right? People call it different things, but and I love what you said about your kids too. You can't hide from children. Yeah, you
No,
really can't. So one of the things that we do, find something in the day to be excited about,
yeah,
and at bedtime we talk about it. We, reflect and the different perspectives too, right? Like what I would find and what my 4-year-old son would find, very different. Very
yeah,
different. For him, it's like, man, my shoe was blue today. Like, amazing, dude. Like, that's
yeah,
fantastic. And the passion about this blue shoe, um, that's been sitting in his shoe rack for, months probably, right?
yeah,
But today, that was his thing. Yeah, it's a great thing to practice.
for sure.
And congratulations on
Thank you.
yeah, is
You
it
know,
another boy out of
yeah,
curiosity
another
or
boy. Yeah, another
yes?
boy. You know what that relates to? I remember this one really profound when I had the brain injury and I was in Walter Reed in Bethesda, Maryland, close to DC. I had this lady one time. Her name was Major Jennifer Bell, and she took me on a walk one day when I was in this clinic for my brain injury. And she said, "Hey, Sergeant, let me ask you a question. Can you make a choice to be happy?" And I was just so upset at the time. I was like, this man, I wanted to call all kinds of names. I was like, what do you mean? Like, I'm stuck in this rut. I can't serve anymore. Like, things are coming too close for me. And I was just so upset. So then I get shown this place called the Veterans Village in DC, and you see a lot of veterans living under bridges. And I recognized right there that there was a large group of men and who just when they came back home, they just didn't choose to turn that light switch off and make that conscious choice. Hey, you know what?
Mm,
I have to be happy. Or if anything, I just need to, and cope and just hope for a better day.
yeah,
Um, that's that choice between just either giving up or, like you said, just find a miracle in the day, whether that be the shelter that you have, the food in your refrigerator, something that you may not really like anymore, but you once loved, but just because you don't pay attention to it anymore, you forgot the love that you have for it. But it's just getting back, that mindfulness to get back in tune with how blessed you truly are. So
yeah,
yes, I completely agree to that. It's
sure.
finding, yeah,
The one that I heard recently on this same topic is that one of the greatest skills in life is being in a good mood despite there being nothing to be in a good mood about.
yeah,
Like it's free, right? Like,
yeah,
um, but you can see sometimes how challenging that can actually be, right?
sure.
It's easy to say that from this perspective of like roof over my head, food in the fridge. But for some people that can be really, really challenging.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Even a good woman. Yeah,
uh,
if you have one, man, I tell you
yeah, yeah,
what, having that one person that you are destined to be with, that's your true helper, that is your true like best friend, just look no further, no left and right, one in the
Mm,
spirit. Man, that's waking up to that's a blessing and it's
absolutely.
some daily, you know?
Absolutely. And being able to trust that that person is, not just there, like there for you, right? In the traditional sense, but text you when you need it,
Yeah.
pulls you up when you need it sometimes, just that little nudge of like, hey man, you know?
Um,
Um, and even in the, I guess, not so positive, like, are you really a couple if you don't disagree every now and again, right?
of course.
Being able to treat that as the journey that it is, as
Yeah.
opposed to letting it define your entire existence,
Yeah.
yeah, those are the very important qualities in the person you're spending the most time with in your
Yeah.
life, right? Yeah, I'm lucky like that.
Amen.
Fortunate, and
You
yeah,
I had this pastor that he calls the disagreements and the things you go through, he calls it aggressive fellowship.
yeah, yeah. We call them business meetings.
There you go.
We call them so I don't know, like we so I've had to learn to be a married couple, right?
Yeah,
In
for
our
sure.
journey, right? Because you go through the whole dating thing, and each of you sort of inflates yourself a little bit, right? The sales pitch,
For
so to
sure.
speak.
Yeah.
And then you sort of get there, all right, we've closed the deal, all right, exclusive. Then you go through life for a little bit, maybe you move in with each other, whatever. But when marriage comes through, you're like really closing the deal. And the consequences of backing out, you know, aside from the fact that you probably shouldn't have done it in the first place if you're gonna do that, like not gonna cross that one. But
Yeah.
there's kids aspect, there's the home
Listen.
aspect, there's the, all of it, right? So the consequences are pretty high.
All right.
If and this is something we learned over time, is to approach marriage in certain elements like you would a business, right? But and those elements we apply are designed to give us the most quality time with each other as possible. Like if one of us is annoying the other one, right? Whatever it may be, right? My wife has her things, I have my things. Instead of making it a big deal, right? You let it cook a minute, maybe he's just having a bad day. Maybe she forgot, a couple days go by, whatever. At our next business meeting, we bring it up as, hey, this is something that, you know, has been frustrating me for a few days. Can we figure out how we can make this, you know? And that way, all of those negative elements of daily existence get compartmentalized into this one productive session where we can deal with it. And then at the same time, we look at things like planning. What does the month look like? Oh, we're traveling. We've got a wedding, in December. Has someone booked accommodation? Do we have a place to stay? You know,
Yeah.
logistics, right? Family logistics. All right. What do we have for the kids next term? Swimming lesson, thesis taking. What are the all right, cool. Then the rest of that next period of time, right? Whether it's a week or 2 weeks, like we'll schedule the next meeting. We get to enjoy each other's company. We get to enjoy hanging out with our kids. We get to enjoy, taking the dogs for a walk, whatever it may be,
Amen.
because we've dealt with the administration aspect and it's not turning into this everyday nag, you know?
Yeah.
That and you can translate that a little bit, right? So
For
you've
sure.
sold, you've signed the deal, and now you're doing customer service,
For sure.
and what you've worked so hard to create,
For
right?
sure.
And protecting that. Yeah, very, very important, I think.
Very, very important. At the end of the day, I will tell you that the bottom line is that love always wins. Love always gonna win. When you try to address it in a way on that's contrary to love, you'll lose.
Mm,
It's only love that wins. Our responsibilities between husband and wife. We have our love languages. Whatever yours is, whatever hers is, it's up to us to make those deposits in each other.
Yeah.
And as long as it's a constant work, and for us, we keep God in the center of that, and that helps us, ensure that what we're doing is not just our way, but His way.
Yeah. I love that. Jairo, if I were to ask you, what's the next thing you guys are working on, whether it's in life or in the company?
So right now, what we're doing right now is our goal right now is to begin to grow. We have a 5,000 square facility right now in Round Rock, Texas. Our current goal right now is we're going after some grants right now, because the whole key is that we want to be able to do basically a Texas takeover in our home first. My whole goal is to be able to put one of these at every 10-mile radius of every VA in the state of Texas. A VA obviously services veterans. I want to be able to plant one 10-mile radius every VA in the nation eventually, but start in Texas. We to use the word vets or veterans in any entity. Obviously, you have to truly be doing that. Vets helping vets, and proven on the stomping ground of we've done already. And now it's just time to grow.
Amazing. And what kind of support do you think would get that the most?
Truthfully, you know what? You would think sometimes that the answer would be, monetarily. But man, I tell you what, in my let me say in my organization, it takes it takes a certain individual coach wise, because they need to be, God fearing. They obviously need to know boxing, and they also have to have that component of leadership. So the right individual has a higher value than the monetary. Once the individual is in place, you can put the monetary behind that, and can only grow as far as the people that's really caught that vision and push that. So it's getting the right players in place, getting the right people in place, and then secondary monetarily just grows like that.
Yeah. Awesome. And then we're gonna do a lightning round.
Okay.
So real quick fire. What's the best piece of advice you've received when trying to build something new?
Put God first in everything that you do.
And any advice you'd give to someone starting out with a business idea or something like that and isn't sure where to begin?
Ensure that the people that you're bringing along on your team are people that are actually in line with you, the person that has the vision, that they're catching the vision that you have and not trying to come up with their own ideas.
Amazing. And where can people find out more about you and the work that you do?
You can just Google Combat Vets Boxing, and you can just scroll through you can Facebook, Instagram, it's there, but you can dig deeper and you can actually find news platforms and things that we've done outside the box.
Amazing. Jairo, thank you so much. This has been an amazing conversation. And I know there's a lot to be taken away for anyone listening or watching this today. It's a different perspective and a different approach to and life that you provided, and thank you for everything that you do for your community.
I appreciate that.
That first, I think, is cool and super important. Yeah, guys,
they say there's more ways to skin a cat, but I'm just just a testimony to what's been working for us on this side.
No, I love it. I think it's the greatest way to watch business is first, because the money will come, the opportunities, people come if you're doing the thing that you set out to do, the right people, the right opportunity, they all come, and I love that. Thank you again so much for your time, and I will look forward to chatting with you more over
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was evolve, it'll be good to get together again, and I guarantee to have the way we have things set by this time next year will be in a whole different, and things just evolve.
Amazing. And maybe we can catch up in a year and
Yeah,
break
we'll
that
touch base.
down
Yeah, we'll
and
touch base again
there
at
we
that
go.
time.
Yeah.
I will tell you that it does take time, but man, after years and change, we have more traction today than we ever have.
Yeah.
Like,
Amazing.
you know, and I can say that with absolute faith.
Yeah.
It's the
Fantastic.
team. It's the team, bro. It's the team.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very important. Like doing
It's
big is impossible, right?
yeah,
But
it's impossible.
um yeah, like you said, attracting the right people based on you being yourself, you know?
Yeah,
Um and then everyone lifting it all up together. Like it's fantastic.
for sure.
Cool. And listen, so I'm just gonna, end it back
Yeah, I
there.
got you.
If you do need any, help or need to bounce an idea off or whatever, feel free to hit me up anytime. Because yeah, like I said, what you're doing is super cool. Yeah, happy to assist in any way I can. Our company builds apps, and we've done a few boxing clubs actually um, in Australia. But if anything tech wise or whatever you need a hand with, flick me a message. I'd be happy to
For
help
sure.
out however I can. In terms of getting this published, so we're looking at about 6 to 7 week turnover to get it through edit and then schedule it into the cycle.
Okay.
I'll have all of your links, sort of copied and pasted in whatever descriptions. I'll also
Nice.
send you a little pack of like reels for
Okay.
yourself. So unbranded, just based on, key moments in this chat we've had, and there's going to be a lot. Like this was a banger of a session that you can just share,
For sure.
for yourself. Did I'll get Marilyn to send you. There's a little like a bio section that I might get you to fill out and send back to
Okay.
me with a headshot and stuff like that. For the marketing pack, thumbnails and this and that, so that we can highlight you as best as possible. And do you have any questions for me?
No, that's right. I just really appreciate. I don't use. I have an admin. I have people that do my social media stuff. I personally don't use it. You
Mhm.
know, only because of the fact that I just never good. It was never good for my mental health. I have
Yeah.
so much stuff. I'm more of like I'm more the beans and bullets. I'm more at the ground level. Like I the face to face and making that genuine, authentic, just conversation, and actually, be able to pour out and feel poured back into. That's it's where I'm at. So I let everybody else handle all the other stuff.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm similar. I can't scroll, dude. Like I just got like I get in my head so much.
for sure.
And half that stuff that you scroll through, I don't know if it's real or not.
Yeah,
You know, I've seen some stuff and you sit there and you're like, oh, that's really wholesome or whatever.
yeah,
And then you find out that the whole thing's staged and you're like, why did I,
yeah.
like I can't, it does my head in. So I
So, is your name? Is your name Shuja?
should, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Part that I didn't tell you in this thing, but believe it or
Mm,
not, so I fight in Las Vegas
right.
February 28th at the Orleans Hotel in the
Mhm.
World Masters. I even though with a brain injury and all that, I feel better today, but I feel like I feel very led to be an inspiration to my organization.
Mhm.
And when they found out, man, coach as the founder, just going back in that ring at 44 years old, and trust me, it hurts.
Yeah.
It literally, I'm 135%, coach. I had the opportunity to have a pro boxer named Brian Berry who fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. twice. One time at the Alamo Dome, another time, both times at the Alamo Dome actually, and learned a lot, picked up a lot, a lot of coaching. But man, being able to take the platform myself and be that leader, the founder,
Mm,
that's
yeah,
the
that's
next
super
thing that
cool.
then founders do.
Yeah, yeah, that's so walk the life, right?
Yeah, walking,
Um,
yeah, real
yeah,
walk,
yeah, that's so cool. So that's
Don't
next
exceed, don't
February,
exhaust
or
me.
this is the February?
Yeah, right
one?
here, February
Yeah.
28th, 2026.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah,
I won't be able to make it to Vegas, but if there's a stream or something, I would absolutely,
for sure.
yeah, yeah, I'd love to check it out. But do send me your album as well. I wanna,
Sure, check it. Sure.
yeah. But yeah, I'll reach out to you soon, when we know the dates and things, and I'll get Marilyn to send over the kit pack. You don't have to do it yourself if you want, admin can do it for you. It's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
And yeah, we'll catch up real soon. Okay. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
All right, Shoes. Yes. Pleasure talking with you.
Enjoy your evening, man.
All right, brother. You too.
See
Enjoy
ya.
your morning.
Thank you.
All right, bro. Bye.
Bye.